your hosts, Jimmy Thompson and Donato Bucci. They're covering the most current issues in sports from the 305 to the 412 and all the way to the West Coast. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at JT and the Don, or email them at jtandthedon@gmail.com. Now take it away, guys.
Give them a shot to do what?
Welcome to the next episode of JT and the Don, presented by Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Don, Donato Bucci, and remember to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. And remember to leave us a 5-star review. Thank you to Nicole Thompson for the wonderful introduction of words, and to our guy, Mike Regina, to the pump up JT and the Don music. As always, we've got a lot on tap this evening on Halloween night. Big trade in the NBA earlier today. NFL full swing, just about mid-season. But first, let me welcome in everyone's favorite, except mine, JT, Jimmy Thompson. How you feeling today?
Bro, you couldn't go 2 minutes without talking shit. You know what's funny? Is this the first show that we've done on Halloween? I think this is.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You're making me work on a national holiday. I don't appreciate it. So
your candy will be there. See, you're not even wearing your Halloween stuff, man. You're not even in the spirit.
I am.
It's the same.
Black
and
orange.
Shit you wear every week.
Black,
the same.
Black and orange. It's Halloween colors. The Miami Hurricanes are a nightmare
yes or no,
for us as fans.
You wore that because it's Halloween, or you wore it because that's what you normally wear? I thought so. Let's just start the show. Go ahead.
Usually I wear the San Francisco Dons.
Oh,
all right. God. So we're going to start with the James Harden trade. JT, this occurred a little after 2 a.m. on the East Coast. I know you were sleeping already, but news broke that Harden traded to the Clippers along with PJ Tucker in exchange for Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and an additional first-round pick that will actually be rerouted from a third team. All right. So you got
a mystery third team.
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming. A draft pick to be named later.
It's probably the Thunder. They're always responsible. There's somewhere in the if there's draft picks involved and there's a team, like a third team, it's probably the Thunder
or the Orlando Magic. So you got 4 players. You've got like 4 picks, 2 first-round picks. Who won the deal in your opinion?
First thing, can we say, like, when in these trades, these picks never matter. Like, I feel like first-round picks in the NBA, those guys could be on the bench for like 5 years, if that. If not, they'll be in the G League or they'll be overseas
or out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really care about the picks, and they make it sound fancy with this pick swap thing, and I'm like, people they think it's football. I will say this. With all that aside, the Sixers win this deal if they decide to keep Joel Embiid, because there's the rumors that he could get traded to the Knicks, because it's winning by subtraction. Like, James Harden had to go. He didn't want to be there. His relationship with Daryl Morey had become beyond toxic, and him and Embiid were starting to kind of get to that level that him and Ben Simmons were at one point. So they had to get rid of him. And it frees up money for them to potentially go get another guy or some other guys that they can place around Embiid to make this team successful. So that's my answer, is if they keep Embiid, the Sixers win this, because getting rid of James Harden, if you keep him, in itself is winning the deal.
So listen, when Harden doesn't want to be somewhere, like, look out, right? We've seen in Houston, Brooklyn, Philly now. He just infiltrates the team with negativity. So like you said, addition by subtraction, you get him out of there. And now on top of that, the Clippers now have to basically inherit him. And I'm just not sure that's the right move for the Clippers. And to be honest, I think it's amazing that Daryl Morey was able to get 2 first-round picks, JT. I know you say the picks don't matter, and you're right, but the fact that everyone knew he wanted out, everyone knew he was done in Philly, and we've seen this before, and he's not the 29-year-old, 30-year-old in his prime James Harden that can force his way out and teams will give up the farm for him. And
I mean, it
feel
seems like he is. He's still doing it, and he
but
didn't even
what I'm
have to
saying.
gain weight this time to leave town. Like he just like, look, I'm not showing up.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is that you are still able to get that for however old he is now, mid-30s James Harden. You still got 2 first-round picks, second-round picks, and you never know what those can turn out to be. And the thing is, you get them down the line when the Clippers will no longer have, right? They won't have the big 3 of Harden, Kawhi, and Paul George by the year 2027 when they're tanking again. So now that 20,
I think at least 2 of their deals are up after this season, like Kawhi and PG, right?
Right. So by the 2027 season, going into the 2028 draft, these could be top 3 picks for the 76ers.
Oh, so you're saying these picks do matter. Okay. I see.
That's what I'm saying.
So who won? Who won? Get to it. Who won?
I told you, it's clearly Philly. And before we go on to the next question, Jason Curtis, thanks for always watching. Is this the most anyone has ever gotten for Harden at 34, better than Nets got for him, for example? Well, I think maybe what Brooklyn got for him was a heck of a sweep too, right? If I'm not mistaken, JT.
Yeah, it was Ben Simmons and some other stuff.
In first rounders, I think. So now you go 2 years later, this might be the most anyone's gotten for him, because those 4 players, if the Sixers play really well, those are 4 good role players that can help them in the Eastern Conference.
All
right. So to finish up this deal, JT, let's look at the LA Clippers, because I've been looking at the Sixers and how they won this deal. Does this make the LA Clippers the team to beat in the West with their big 3?
You know what's the funniest part about this whole deal is that we're so hyped that Kawhi, PG, and James Harden are going to be on the same team. Like Russell Westbrook is still there too. And like whoever thought we'd get Russell Westbrook and James Harden back together at this point in their careers. Like, you know what this reminds me of?
Oh, it was in Houston. I mean, this is the 3rd time they're together.
Yeah, I'm saying, but at this point in their careers, like they're clearly not what they used to be. Like this reminds me of like you see in the movies where like it's a guy and a girl best friend, and they're like, look, if we're not married by 40, we're just gonna marry each other. That's the situation that is going on right now. But no, because let's be real, we're not putting them ahead of the Nuggets. We're not putting them ahead of a healthy Phoenix Suns, and we're not putting them ahead of the Warriors. I barely want to put them ahead of a healthy Lakers just because it's LeBron versus those 3 guys, and I can guarantee at least 2 of those guys ain't going to be there when you need them, whether it's through injury or they're just not going to show up for the Clippers. So I cannot say this move makes them the favorite.
Yeah, I agree with you. No way. I've lost faith in them. You know, they were my team like 2 years ago.
I used to love Paul George. I'm not gonna lie.
I lost faith in them. Even Kawhi, like I have just lost faith in them. Listen, those are 3 guys that are either injury prone, load managed, or at times in James Harden's career, he'll find a way, to be a problem for no reason. And the West is strong. We've talked about this. They keep giving away depth. The Clippers just keep giving away depth. And we saw this with the Phoenix Suns last year, JT. You give up depth come playoff time, you're in trouble. You can't beat Denver. I agree with you. They're not in front of a healthy Lakers team. You still got the Suns, the Warriors. Like,
are we saying that I don't even know if I put them ahead of a healthy Mavs team or when John Morant comes back. Like, I don't know. Like, exactly. Those 3 alone can't do it.
Right. Like those 4 teams I just mentioned, even the Grizzlies and Mavs aside, because I agree with you. Can they beat, meaning the Clippers, can they beat those 4 teams, Denver, LA, the Suns, and the Warriors in a 7-game series when those other teams are healthy too?
They're going to need Toronto Kawhi to show up, and I don't know if that guy's still around.
I don't know if he's capable of being that guy anymore. All right, so to finish up the NBA, all right, first week is in the books, started last Tuesday night, a week ago. let's play the NBA version of the check down game, which we call the fast break. So the question is, we'll give a question, we'll give multiple answers. Why are you shaking your head? The fast
You
break.
always find a way to sneak names in here. Like you try to be creative, but you try to be sneaky. All right, cool. It's the fast break. Go ahead.
Fast break. So we're going to give you a question, multiple answers to it. We'll pick what we feel is the best answer to that question. So the question, jackpot or fool's gold? I know JT came up with that question.
I mean,
all right,
the way you keep using it, you would think you came up with it.
I know, see? So first one is Giannis and Damian Lillard are the best duo in the NBA.
Ooh, that's tough, man. We talking about duos. I got to say jackpot, man. Because it's Giannis, a guy that you say is going to win the MVP, a stud first-round fantasy draft pick that people are reaching for. And then Dame, like...
Reaching? I didn't reach. Take that back.
Look. In my other draft, he went 4. So, but I'm just saying, like, we know who Giannis is. MVP, champion, caliber player. And then we know who Damian Lillard is. Like, maybe one of the best players to ever be on a bad franchise for so long. And they just look perfect together. Like, in the pick-and-roll game, they look great. And those two guys, this is where I really put it. That's why I say it is jackpot, because tell me a better duo of two players in the league that when it's 4 minutes left in the game, you know they can go crazy together. And I think I can't give you one. Maybe Steph and Clay, but I'm not even so sure that, Clay could do that. But I know Damian Lillard and Giannis could do it.
Yeah, that's jackpot. I mean, you had me at Giannis. You had me at Giannis. I mean, he is the best player in the world. I would maybe still put LeBron up there as best player in the world. And it's no offense to Jokic, but it's Giannis. And so when you've got him and then you bring in a guy that can close the show and Damian Lillard, and I mean, we're talking about range three-pointers at the buzzer. Forget about it. They're the best. They're the best. They're the scariest duo and the best duo, in my opinion.
To add to it real quick, I see watching the Heat so far this season, this is why we needed Damian Lillard. Because when it comes to that 4 minute to 5 minute into the game, we ain't got nobody like that to go to. And the Bucks got 2 of them.
Yep. And real quick, Jason Curtis again, Durant and Booker. Listen, they're pretty good.
Show me.
But exactly. Show me, stay healthy, show me. But I'm still going Giannis and Dame because I trust Dame more than Booker, and Durant and Giannis down the stretch are maybe a wash, but I know defensively all game I'm going to get it from Giannis.
Plus, let's keep it real. Giannis then took both of those guys out by himself. Now he got Batman 1B with him. So Durant and Booker got to show me one first.
I agree. All right, the next one, Oklahoma City Thunder as a playoff team, jackpot or fool's gold?
Been waiting for this for years. It's here. Jackpot. They got so much talent, man. Shea, I know your boy Giddey is struggling, but we know the talent is there.
Brutal.
Jay Williams, who I like, I called him last year as Rookie of the Year, even though I lost, but it's Chet Holmgren. Like, he is everything that we thought he would be when he was supposed to be the #1 overall pick last year and more. Elite rim defender. He's got offensive skills, and he's got a year to adjust to life in the NBA, like from the bench, but he's still been in the league. So you put that team out there, like they're just a bunch of tall, athletic freaks that can score and defend. And why would they not be a playoff team if they stay healthy and they let those guys play all the games? Yeah, they're going to be knocking on the playoff door. They like a playoff team to me.
I say it's jackpot as well. Tell me which team, JT, is better than them in this bottom feeder of the West. The Spurs? Yes or no?
Come on.
Yeah, the Spurs are not better. Portland. Is Portland better? No. Utah Jazz?
No.
Houston Rockets?
As much as it pains me, no.
They're 0-3. Memphis is 0-4. Are they better than Oklahoma City?
I gotta see Ja come back.
Without Ja, but that's 26 games. So
no, I don't think they're better.
Okay. So other than that, Oklahoma City's in the top 10. And if you think Minnesota or the Clippers or the Pelicans are better, then that's fine. But that top 10 means Oklahoma City Thunder at the very least are in the play-in for the playoff.
Playoff team. I like it.
Playoff team. All right, last one. Ben Simmons's resurgence.
Jackpot. This is exactly what he did at Philly. It's true.
Yeah, look how that ended.
Points, rebounds, assists, good field goal percentage, and can't shoot free throws. This same Ben Simmons was defensive player of the year type guy, and we were like, oh, he's an all-star. He deserves a max contract. He's doing the same stuff that made people think he was great in Philly. He's just doing it with a lower profile in Brooklyn. Yeah, Ben Simmons is back. I'm sorry. This is who he is, and he's finally healthy.
Fool's gold. He's going to fool you in the end. He's going to show, whatever may happen toward the end of the year. This is early on. Everything looks great. He
hasn't looked like this in like 2-3 years.
Everything is roses. Everything is peaches and cream early on. Get me through 8 months of the season. Get me through 82 games, and we'll see. And this is for any player. You'll see the true character and the true side of the player come 8 months, 82 games when things get tough. So I'm going to go fool's gold.
All right, you would. You got to disagree somewhere. So let's go to NFL reactions. I know this is what you really want to talk about.
Love this segment.
No. Hey, look, we can only talk about football in this segment, show. So if we don't talk about football, you lose your damn mind. So here we are.
That is true. I
know.
But you love this segment because you want to take you say one sentence that you think kind of sticks out, and then you throw it on IG and you try to make it all big, and you're in it for clicks.
Wow. Okay. Now you're accusing me of being Deion Sanders. All right, Dan Lanning, chill out. All right. So another week in the NFL season in the books. So what we're going to do. We're going to talk about everything underneath the sun. So first thing we always do, one player, performance, or storyline that you are not overreacting to right now.
The 49ers. They're still my Super Bowl team. I'm just relaxed. They'll be fine. They've had some untimely injuries. And you look at their team, I mean, they've had a pretty tough stretch with some competition, but they're still 10th in passing. All right. Think about that. 10th in passing. So everyone wants to knock Brock Purdy now. Like, they're still 10th in passing, still a top 10 team. Number 4 in rushing on offense. And then defensively, they have the 8th best rush defense. And their defense will come along, pass defense. They'll get that pass rush. Plus, they just added Chase Young. So, just relax. 49ers aren't going anywhere. I know everybody's worried that 3-game losing streak, but I'm not overreacting to it.
Yeah, I think that's the easy answer to pick. Is
that the low-hanging fruit yard?
Yeah, it is. It is. As you call it.
I took the low.
I agree with you. It's the 49ers. Right. I mean, they're finding everything in the media to tank this team. Oh, the defensive coordinator is not as good. The defense not playing well. It's still the 49ers. They're still going to make the playoffs. They still at worst, a top 5 team in the league. I know everyone's pouring on Brock Purdy right now, but you're right. It's the 49ers, so I'm not even going to sweat it. Flip the script. Okay. One player performance or storyline that you are panicking on.
Hey, man, is there a panic button in the Steel City of my birthplace? Because they should be hitting the panic button.
You know why it's not in Pittsburgh? Because you had the panic button across the state in Philly for the whole season. Because it was doomsday for the Eagles. Oh my God, they're not playing like they used to. They look terrible. They're not going to make the playoffs.
So you bring the panic button. Don't look good.
Oh,
they still don't look good.
And they still win it. They win it more than the 49ers.
Just put a panic button in the state of Pennsylvania. How about that then?
Nah, just leave it in Allegheny, and that's it. Because you're right. You should be panicking on the Steelers.
Listen, I thought they would be better offensively. I mean, at least offensively. The O-line is still having issues. There's no run game. Get the ball into Jalen Warren's hands. He looks way more explosive than Najee Harris. And it's not all on Harris, right? The offensive line, like I said, isn't great. I'm not sold that Pickett is a franchise quarterback. Can he win a Super Bowl? Sure. But he has to have a team like Ben did in 2006 versus the team that Ben had in 2009, where Ben was really a difference maker for that Super Bowl team. So can Pickett win a Super Bowl? Sure. But does that mean he's a franchise quarterback? I don't know. I don't think that's why I'm starting to panic. Listen, the defense has been too good to let this type of season go to waste defensively. I mean, we're in trouble. 28th in passing yards, 30th in rushing. JT.
I mean, that's Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada. Like, what do you expect?
That's not going to get it done. Hit the panic button. Where's the panic button in Pittsburgh?
It's in Philly.
Keep it
I'm going to
going.
hit the panic button. I know they're not a great team, but I'm just hitting the panic button on what can happen as an organization. Like, I thought they were already bad, but it can get much worse. It's the Raiders. Like, I'm full panic. I don't know what to expect from this team. The coach could be fired. Their star players don't want to be there. Their quarterback is bad because everybody spent all this time telling me how much of a winner Jimmy G is, and they got all these stats and beautiful graphics to show us why he's such a good quarterback. And I'm just looking at the Raiders. Last year, they thought they were so good that they should have traded up to get one of the 3 good quarterbacks. And we can at least admit one of those 3 guys would have been better than Jimmy G this year on the Raiders. So they didn't get Bryce Young, Stroud, or Anthony Richardson. And instead, they took a guy at 7 that you thought was the biggest bust of the draft. You know how many sacks this guy has so far this year? 1. Thank you. They always do this. It's the Clelin Ferrell thing all over again. And now you got Devontae Adams wide open for 2 game-winning plays. Quarterback can't get him the ball. He's smashing his helmet on the sideline. Josh Jacobs, they're asking, how can we make the offense better? He's like, get the hell out of my face. Ask the sorry-ass coach that you guys won't fire. Like, it is a dumpster fire. Like, I don't know how you fix the Raiders. And the worst part about it is they're not even tanking to get one of these great quarterbacks. They're going to be in the same position they were last year. They're going to miss out on May, Caleb, all these guys, and they're going to be stuck in this perpetual rut. And it's getting worse and worse every year. I'm panicking on them as a franchise. The NFL should take away ownership from the Davises. It's over. They need new owners.
Let me tell you something, JT. I actually love it that they're like this because if you know any Steelers fan, no matter when you
we know this goes back.
It goes back. But then 2, all right, they've been trying. The Raiders organization has been trying to fix it for 40 years since their last Super Bowl. And then on top of that, JT, I think the Raiders organization just loves this sort of stuff, though.
They love losing.
I think they love the whole circus. Like, that's just what they are, who they are. They just love it. They love it.
Barnum and Bailey out of business, man. They need something new, man. This is bad. And then they had all this at the top. They had Derek Carr, and they shipped him away for this. Like, I'm panicking on the Raiders. Like, this is the kind of shit that makes the NFL sell your team.
And I told you, Jimmy G wasn't the answer in San Francisco, not the answer there. Okay, if he's a stopgap, great. But if you're trying to make a franchise quarterback a Super Bowl run, he's not the guy. I'm sorry.
Imagine if they would have traded up for C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson. This like Devontae Adams could be having a career year. All right, so trade deadline came and went. We always think it's going to be exciting, and then it never lives up to the hype. But all the moves, I think there were like 6 big moves that got made, 6 big trades. What's the best one to you out of those?
I think it's Chase Young for a 3rd-round pick. Listen. San Fran, nothing to lose here. They've taken kickers with their 3rd-round pick. So you know what? Why not go get a guy like Chase Young if he can come back healthy and he can develop and get better? I mean, that defensive line looks even more scary. And this is what San Francisco does. Like, they take guys and figure out a way on the defensive line to just make that D-line great. And I think for only a 3rd-round pick, like I said, they've taken kickers before there. You know, the Rams have given away a lot of their picks. So, like, the 49ers, what do they have to lose? If he comes back, this guy was the number 2 overall pick. I just think it's worth the risk. And when you think of, like, trade deadlines, you know, it's not, oh, hey, great, we added a left guard. Like, hey, you need offensive line, but this is exciting. This is a big name defensive line guy that
he was the number 2 overall.
And that's
pick.
what I'm saying. So
they
when you
took
talk
this guy
about
instead of getting a franchise quarterback.
Right. When you talk about blockbuster deals, what gets you excited? That's the deal that does it for me.
I don't want to agree with you because I actually like 2 other deals on this list. I like the Montez Sweat, but when you see his teammate go for a 3rd-round pick,
right.
I mean,
right.
I can't pick him.
And JT, you know what worries me with that? The Bears gave up a 2nd for Chase Claypool. So now I question the Bears,
their talent evaluation.
Yes. And that's no offense to Montez Sweat. He's been really good, but I don't trust the Bears.
He ain't worth a 2nd-round pick to me.
And what they'll
he's not.
How they'll use them, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that. And then I would love to go with the Leonard Williams to the Seahawks, but they gave up a second and the fifth. And he's a D tackle. I love him, but it's Chase Young, man, because you got a 3rd round pick, number 2 overall pick. He's just so talented. And the thing is, we know he's been injured. That's the big thing. And I think that's why he required a 3rd round pick and Montez Sweat got a second, is because we know Sweat's going to stay healthy, even though his ceiling might not be as high as Chase. But Chase has all the upside in the world, but he's been hurt for basically 2 years. But guess what? This year, he looks back to that guy that they thought was worthy of taking before Justin Herbert and Tua. Like, Chase looks like he's back. Now you get to play with Nick Bosa and Fred Warner on that defense. Like, they didn't even get to play together at Ohio State. Like, I want to see this on tape. I want to see Chase Young on one side and Nick Bosa on the other, just like it should have been at Ohio State. And I want to see them wreak havoc on people.
With Fred,
and I think it's going to be nasty.
With, like you said, with Fred Warner patrolling the middle.
Yeah, like that just gets me excited. Like, I know many things didn't happen in the trade deadline, but the opportunity for those two guys to line up and tee off on quarterbacks, clearly the best deal.
I think before you move on, sorry, I think the only concern is contract wise, right? Like,
I think they can franchise tag him, and I think that's the smart thing to do, and I think that's why they acquired him, because Warner's already locked up, Bosa's already locked up.
He's on a rookie deal.
Like, the defense probably doesn't have any more expensive players. Like, hey, look, why not?
Yeah.
If they can catch lightning in a bottle, we get them for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Relatively cheap. Good move.
Yep.
Now, we always talk about how we want to see more during the trade deadline. Of course, not as many splash moves as we like to see. Name one player that you were shocked didn't get traded that should have gotten traded?
Not that I'm shocked, but the one I would have done or would have liked to have seen for this team is for the Kansas City Chiefs to go get a guy like Marquise Brown if they could have pulled that off. I thought that was one that he's the type of receiver that can really – he's been playing really good with Josh Dobbs, and ironically, Josh Dobbs got traded today to the Vikings, but Marquise Brown was having a good year. He's showing why the Ravens selected him early on, but to go to the Chiefs team and
with Mahomes?
Mahomes, and that's what I think they're missing is that vertical deep threat. He would instantly bring it. I'm not saying he's Tyreek Hill. Don't mix my words up, and I don't want anyone to do that. But he would bring that vertical speed that I think could open up now the underneath for guys like Rashee Rice, because I think they were hoping Kadarius Toney could be that guy.
This is all about how can we make Rashee Rice better. This got nothing to do with Marquise Brown.
No.
It's like who can make Rashee Rice better so I can rip somebody off for multiple first round picks? I get it.
But with Kadarius Toney, I think that's what they were hoping they can use him as. But I think Marquise Brown would have just flourished in this type of system with Kansas City.
Yeah, but also it'd been nice to have just any other receiver that Mahomes would trust enough to throw it to, other than Travis Kelce, because he don't seem to trust anybody. And you're right,
Rashee Rice a little bit. He's been targeting him.
It seems like a forced relationship. He's like the lesser of the evils between all the X's on the team. So I agree. The Chiefs should have acquired a receiver. I just don't understand why the Ravens didn't make a move for Derrick Henry, because they have everything else in place. They got the receivers, the quarterbacks playing at an MVP level. Andrews is still there. They're clicking. You add Derrick Henry to that offense, man. Like, they can't stack the box. They have a decent O-line. And you got Lamar back there, man. Like, I think that would have catapulted them to the top of the AFC. Like, undoubtedly would have made them the favorites if they would have acquired Derrick Henry. And I really don't understand the NFL in general. It's like, I always wonder why during the trade deadline, teams are reluctant to move any offensive players, no matter what their situation is. Like, Derrick Henry is going to be gone for nothing. A guy like Tannehill is going to be gone for nothing. Like, why not move that guy for something if you're not going to plan on re-signing them? Like, it's just the offensive guys. Like, all the offensive guys we want to see get moved, they never get moved at the deadline. But Derrick Henry was the guy that I thought should have been gone, and teams should have paid up to get him.
Interesting. Well, let's stay in the NFL, but let's play the NFL checkdown game. Hey, good job there. So we know how it goes. We know what the rules are here. So first question: more concerning, Kirk Cousins' career or Aaron Rodgers' career after the injury?
I hate to say it. I think it's going to be Kirk Cousins because of the foot where the Achilles occurred, because this is going to affect his throwing, his power. Because it's one thing to heal from the surgery, but now he also got to come back and get his power back to throw off that leg. And you see it. I'm predicting that it's going to be like how Joe Burrow was in the beginning of the year with that calf injury. We're like, oh, he just doesn't look right. The ball's not coming out the same. And that's just a calf strain. Like now, this guy, Kirk Cousins, is coming off a full Achilles tear. It's probably going to be a while before he gets back to like those passes where he has the zip on him and stuff like that. At least Aaron Rodgers, his Achilles tear was on the other foot where it's not going to really affect his throwing as much. So that's why I have a little bit of higher concern for Cousins.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. Basically, because his name is not Aaron Rodgers.
And he's not taking special shrooms in the woods to get ready to come back.
I'm going to say both will come back, but when we're talking about what you're more concerned of for their career, it's Cousins. What you were saying, plus this could not have come at a worse time for him. Free agent year, and some say he's playing the best ball of his career. So
he's low key in the MVP conversation.
Yeah,
like if that team has a better record, we're talking about him.
Exactly. And he was doing it without Justin Jefferson the last 2.5 games or so. So that's why I say it's more concerning for him, because we know Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starter next year. We know he's going to be with the Jets. We know he's going to do his thing. But Cousins, not only worried about his performance, but he was playing so well, JT, that now it's like, where does this leave him? Does he get a starting contract somewhere, or does he have?
It's not going to be that bidding war in the offseason everyone said it was going to happen.
Is he going to be like Jimmy G and have to go to the Raiders? Or is he going to be prized maybe by a Tennessee Titans, like a team that's on the verge and just needs a quarterback? So,
hey, Devontae Adams would take a one-legged Kirk Cousins right now. Trust me.
All right, next one. More concerning, Brock Purdy or Deshaun Watson?
Oh, this is easy. It's Deshaun Watson. Simply because they paid him $200 billion fully guaranteed. And to add insult to no literal injury, since Deshaun Watson has come back, has he looked better than Brock Purdy in any game that he's played?
I mean, probably not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you paid this guy all this money. You took on the media circus of bringing him in just for him to shit the bed and not look good at all. Like, he's looked done. Like, I don't ever want to say a guy like that is cooked. I hope that he can find his rhythm at some point, but it ain't look like it's coming back, man. He looks done. So I got to go with Watson.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about Watson. I mean, it's a shoulder injury on top of that. And the Browns are winning without him, JT. Like, the fans don't like him. You know, people don't like him, and we know why. And fans want Purdy. Like, they're starting to compare him to Tom Brady. So it's like, I'm not worried about Brock Purdy because also of the system that he's in with the 49ers. He's going to look good. He's got talent. He has the coach, the system. Like, he just needs to get back on track and he'll be good. So I don't know if Deshaun can ever truly get back, not only on track, but to where he was prior to the incident. And I think that's the standard we're holding Deshaun to. And if he doesn't reach it, that's the concern because of the money part that you mentioned.
And two quick things on Deshaun. One, we talked about this when they signed that deal. We talked about it on air and off air. It's like, I hate that he's in Stefanski's system because I don't think it's a good fit to maximize what he does.
It's not a good fit for anybody. Look at Cousins.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing the MVP once Stefanski.
It's only a good fit for the O-line because they can go downhill and block in the running back. Nick Chubb.
And also, Watson has played so bad that there's whispers of, is he just taking the money and running at this point? Like, he don't want to play. So, I mean, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but I keep seeing that pop up, every now and then on social media. But yeah, it's Watson.
Last one of the more concerning, Ken Dorsey or Sean McDermott?
I know a certain somebody's going to really hate my answer on this. And I hate my answer on this because we never throw one of our own under the bus. I'm sorry, man. It's Ken Dorsey. Like, we forget how good Brian Daboll was as an offensive coordinator with the Bills.
Now, hold on. You're saying that Ken Dorsey because he's a Miami guy. That's what you mean by hurricane.
That's why. Yeah, he's a Miami guy. We don't turn our own. But today, Ken, I got to turn on you. As many great things as you've done for the University of Miami, it's your turn today. I'm sorry. Like, you forget when Brian Daboll was the offensive coordinator of the Bills, he had them playing at such an elite level on offense that you would have swore the Bills had already won the Super Bowl. That was the perception of the Bills in the media. Josh Allen had already won an MVP. The Bills have already won a Super Bowl. Like, that's how good they played. Like, just shades of that AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. I'm like, man, like, this is going to be what Buffalo's going to be like going forward. Now they don't look like that at all. Not even a fraction of that. And I will say this about Sean McDermott. Is he the best coach in the league? No. But the one thing we always say, at least the thing that he does well, that part of the game on that team is still doing well. That defense is still elite the last time I checked. And they got major injuries this year, and they still look good. So at least Sean McDermott is doing what he does well. Sorry. Only common denominator that's different is Ken Dorsey. And I think that's more concerning.
Well, there's a couple of reasons why I'm concerned about Dorsey. So I do think you're right. I don't like how we're agreeing as much. But
I know, because you boring as hell.
Listen, the coordinator always gets fired before the coach. So if you're worried about job security, I'm more concerned for Ken Dorsey. All right. And then I like the Daboll comparison. Daboll did such a great job that the sentiment always seems to be that Dorsey is not living up to that standard, not living up to that expectation. I truly don't know how bad Dorsey really is, because I'll keep saying this. I don't know of the weapons in Buffalo if they're truly that good. Like, sit down. I'm taking the Eagles' weapons over the Bills' weapons. I'm taking the Bengals' weapons over the Bills' weapons. I'm taking the 49ers' offensive guys over the Bills' offensive guys. So that's why I feel like Dorsey gets the short end all the time. And I know what you want to say about
an apples to apples situation that when Daboll was there.
And so I was going to say that, okay, does Daboll have the same guys? Yes, but I will also say this, JT, the division wasn't as good as it is now. The Jets are much better. Defensively, they're better. The Dolphins are way better than they were just 2 or 3 years ago. Now, New England's not as good, but the defense
But they're still formidable.
But exactly, especially the defense. So it's like there's no more 4 easy games on the schedule. There's none out of their division that are easy anymore. So that's where I defend Dorsey. But when I'm more concerned, I just mean the perception of him and his job security, because I don't really know if he's as bad as people are making him out to be. So,
but you're more concerned about him than McDermott.
Yes, right now, just because, like you said, McDermott's defense, and they just traded for Rasul Douglas. So you got to believe that the Bills defense will still be okay. It's the offense that always seems to have a problem in the playoffs outside of the 13 seconds to the Chiefs.
Gotcha.
All right. So next question: relax or panic on these guys? Ryan Daboll with the Giants.
Relax. Because the quarterback is shit. And I told you guys this in the offseason. I told you guys this all year. Nah. Daniel Jones is so great. He just got nothing around him. Trash. Where's my trash can? He in here? Oh, there go Daniel Jones. He right there. Trash. What? He is put his way. I will never panic on Brian Daboll because he got this man Daniel Jones paid $40 million guaranteed with 15 touchdowns in a 17-game season. That's all I got to say. I'm not panicking on Daboll. Imagine if they had Tyrod Taylor playing the whole year. They would probably be better. Like, he's that good. I'm not panicking. Relax on Brian Daboll.
I wrote down the same thing, the same word. Relax. All right. So putting the quarterback aside right now, they have no weapons. Who are their receivers? No one is even
Darren Waller, who can't play 2 games.
Yeah, he's always injured with a hamstring. And then all of their other weapons outside of Barkley, they're all left on the fantasy football waiver wire, JT, like in 14-team leagues. So that goes to show
Robinson.
you. Yeah,
like nobody's trying to throw to him. Jalen Hyatt hasn't done anything like this. It is a disappointing supporting cast.
Right. And then you've got a tough division right now. And
the best division in football.
And the QB's hurt. For no matter what you say about him, he's hurt, and that's his starting quarterback. So it's hard for Daboll to really get it going when he doesn't have his guy in there. Like, he's going to get it turned around. In his second season, Tom Coughlin was 8-8. And I guarantee you the New York media wanted him gone after 8-8.
Hey, man,
so
look.
Just relax in New York.
One more thing before we move on. This man took the Giants to the playoffs with a quarterback that threw 15 touchdowns. Like, Just think about how crazy that is. Why are we panicking on Dayball? The dude he's a damn Wizard of Oz. Like, if you want to know who's behind the curtain, it's that dude. They'll make a huge mistake if they decide to let him go.
All right, next one. Relax or panic on Jordan Love as QB1 in Green Bay.
Oh, this was an easy answer for me. I'm gonna relax because he's in the same situation as kind of like the Giants, except he does have talent around him, but we don't see them play because they're hurt. Christian Watson out every game. Romeo Doubs always hurt. Aaron Jones hasn't played since week 1. And the O-line is banged up. I think Bakhtiari's out for the season, and then they've been trying to shuffle around guys to make it work. Like, I want to see Jordan Love with this full complement of young explosive weapons before I say I'm ready to pass on him as a QB1. Because I will say this, despite all those circumstances, he's looked better than a lot of guys in the league this year that have more. Desmond Ridder got more. He's looked better than him. Ryan Tannehill, Geno Smith, those guys got way more weapons, and he's looked better than them this year. I can count on Jordan Love to get me 2 touchdowns a game with nothing. Imagine what he can do with the healthy supporting cast. So I'm relaxing on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna relax. That's my guy. I've got faith in him.
Yeah, he got faith to the tune of 2 first-round draft picks in the trade in Dynasty. That's how much you love him.
Hey, someone always told me sell high. So listen, past 5 games, 8 interceptions. But relax, all right? I know he has no 300-yard games, but he's only 7 games post Aaron Rodgers era. And then look at what Rodgers did last year with those weapons. Like, not
they didn't
much.
even make the playoffs.
Yeah, not much. So it's like, what did you want from a first-year starter that doesn't quite have the weapons yet? Like, so I'm saying relax, and it's still early on. Like, Green Bay, you just got to trust that he'll turn it around. Like, yeah. Who else are you going to go get at this point? Like,
Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs is the answer to everything. Just go get him. He's not even unpacked his bag yet. He's ready to start for any team.
All right, jackpot or fool's gold? Lamar Jackson as the MVP favorite.
Hey, man, what you think this answer is going to be? I'll let you answer it for me. What do you think it's going to be?
I know you're going to say jackpot. That's your guy.
Of course. It's jackpot. Lamar is back.
No bias there.
Lamar is biased. Lamar is back. Okay, first of all, just look at this year through 7 games compared to his MVP season. He got the same record, but more passing yards, more rushing yards, and more total touchdowns. It looks like an MVP to me. He's got NFL best 94.1 PFF passing grade on passes 10-plus yards down the field, and he's got the most 10-plus yard runs out of anybody in the league, regardless of position, with 15. Like, the man is doing it all. Oh, and to add more stats to it, the dude is 16-1 against NFC opponents, which is the best by any young quarterback since the 1970 merger. So, for lack of better words, he is him, and he is back. And to all the people that say he couldn't play quarterback, he don't deserve this big contract, this man is out here about to win the MVP, and he's about to make me look good on my Super Bowl pick. Yes, Lamar Jackson is the MVP candidate.
So you know what I love? This is how I know you're biased, and I know this.
Yo, first of all, the Steelers suck, and that's the only reason you're upset. Can you, for once, just be logical and just be objective? This man is the MVP. There's nothing you can say to be like, no.
Why?
No.
Why are you?
No, because I know what you're gonna try to do. You're gonna be like, oh, you only like Lamar. You're being biased. Nah, this is real talk. The man is the MVP.
Why are you yelling? One,
because I know you about to come up with some bullshit. Because he plays for the Ravens, you about to be so upset. You better tell the truth before I go get this Ravens hat. It's sitting right here.
You tell me to not be biased and to be logical, but yet this is how I know you're biased. You actually did research on this question. All the other questions you've answered have been opinions. Now you finally bring actual facts.
I knew it. I'm right. Move on.
You bring research.
He is the MVP favorite. Right. This dude is mad that I made my case.
You went on your Illuminati subscription for Pro Football Focus, which only elite people can get that.
So you're calling me elite. Thank you.
Because I can't get it. All right.
Because he ain't got no argument.
And then on top of that, I will say this. It's fool's gold. You know why? Because Vegas says so. You know why? Because they still have Tua, Mahomes, and Jalen Hurts with better odds to win MVP than Lamar Jackson.
Mama's wrong again. They wrong. It's Lamar.
Vegas knows something.
So you can't pick one of those guys.
Something.
You can't pick one of those guys. You won't plant your flag on it, but you know it's not Lamar.
No, I'll tell you what. I will take those. I'll tell you what. Next time we're together, we will make a bet that the next time we're together, the loser of this bet takes the other one out to steakhouse, because I know you like Ruth Chris. All right. And
this man always trying to go to a steakhouse.
And listen, I will take the field. Tua, Mahomes, and Hurts.
Oh, hell, that's not a fair bet.
Hey, you said
you gotta pick one. I ain't a sucker.
No.
You gotta pick one. Hey, you're not giving me these. You're not giving me these bullshit Vegas bets where it's like I would choose the guy who's below 4 other guys in the MVP standings. If he don't jump those guys because Vegas won't do it.
It's 3 other guys. It's 3 other guys. All right, and
we'll talk about it next. I called your bluff.
No,
I'm just not a dumb bettor. Go ahead next.
Jackpot. You said it was jackpot. Jackpot or fool's gold. Tyreek Hill is hitting 2,000 receiving yards this season.
I think it's jackpot, man. And
it's because again, you're biased.
No, it's because he has more receiving yards than anybody in NFL history through 8 games. Like, think about it. Calvin Johnson almost hit it, and he's got more than Calvin Johnson. Like, Tyreek is dominating every single game. Like, I love AJ Brown, but he ain't Tyreek, man. The magical season that we talked about, like, who can hit the 2K yards? It's here. It is Tyreek. Sorry.
I'm going to say jackpot. He's got 1,014 yards through 8 games. Through 8 games. He's got 9 more to go. And listen to this, JT. This is why I think he gets there. He's had 3 games of the 8 under 100 yards. And to still be at 1,014 is really amazing. And this is the other thing. He's gone through some tough defenses already. New England twice. So they're off the board.
They know him.
They're off the board. Philly, they're off the board. And Buffalo once, which was in Buffalo. So you don't have to worry about going there in the cold snow weather. So I like it. I'm going to say jackpot.
Yeah, and think about this. Like, AJ Brown is ripping off like 125-yard plus games like it's nobody's business. And he still don't have more receiving yards than Tyreek. Even with all you said, Tyreek doesn't have great games every game. And AJ Brown is just stacking 125 plus. And
he's setting records on his own.
I know. He still can't touch Tyreek.
Right.
Like, I hate to say, and it's weird because it's like a quiet 2K season too. It's like we're so used to Tyreek doing what he did in KC. It's like, how is he getting more yards than he did with Mahomes, and we're not even paying attention? The magical season is here, man.
All right, last one. Will Levis, jackpot or fool's gold?
Oh, this hurts me, man, because it was awesome to see him play, man, but it's fool's gold, and you know it. It's one game. Like, how many times do we fall for this? The guy that nobody has tape on comes in. Matt Flynn threw 7 touchdowns in the game. And then what happened? Russell Wilson became a Hall of Fame quarterback after that. That's the end of that story.
Hey, Matt Flynn got his money.
He got his money to be a camp body. Like, I need to see more. Like, this always happens. Like, these quarterbacks come in, they got a 50-50 shot of putting up a good game or putting up a dud. It's because NFL teams haven't seen them. Like, we know Will Levis dropped to the second round for a reason. And yes, is he capable of doing this? Yeah, I'm no doubt about it. But so is Jake Locker. I need to see a bigger sample size. Like, fool's gold.
I don't know if Lockard ever did this, though, but I'm going to say pump the brakes. It is fool's gold. Listen, D-Hop found the fountain of youth for one game. All right. Atlanta has a poor offense, which Tennessee could take advantage of. They had no fear of a high-scoring game. And listen, there's a reason why he didn't go in the first round. And there's a reason why the Titans didn't even have him as the number 2 quarterback going into the season. So
and they had Malik Willis on their roster. They didn't think this guy was a first-round pick.
Right. Like, listen, great game by Will Levis. Congrats. That's an amazing start to a career. Hopefully, for his sake, it's one game of many in his long career and one of many great games for him. But I'm still saying fool's gold. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not putting money on it.
I'll tell you
just
what.
The way JT
is at him like he's jackpot right now.
Just the way JT isn't putting money on Lamar Jackson as MVP.
We'll talk about that after the show. All right, college football. Can we do the same thing?
Off air.
No, we'll talk about it. But let's recap college football. We can't do a show without that. So we're gonna do the same thing. More concerning: Lincoln Riley's USC future or Dabo Swinney's Clemson future?
It's Dabo. Like Lincoln Riley, USC's not letting him walk unless he's going to the NFL at this point.
They gave this man $90 million, a private mansion, and like a private jet. they gonna make sure they get good use out of Lincoln.
I think it's Dabo. He makes a lot of money, and I'm sure you heard the video by now of the one caller calling in. You make $11.5 million, and you're not doing my job. You're not doing anything right. Like, he set such a high standard for himself in Clemson football. I'm not sure he can sustain it, JT. And like what I mean by not sustaining it without changing his philosophy, like he's got to hit the portal. He's got to be aggressive with NIL. And like people are already complaining, like you saw on his radio show, like Clemson University starts to get more and more complaints that they're not winning the same way. Listen, man, it's not what you did yesterday, but what you did today.
He set the bar. They expect us to be a playoff team. They're not. They're not. I agree with you. It's Dabo, and it's because for everything you said, he's not winning. They're not recruiting at the elite level they used to. And on top of that, he's being an asshole. Like, you can't be doing your job poorly and being an asshole. Like, it was people accepted it when you were like, oh, the kids shouldn't get played, and I'm not dealing and all this stuff. People were like, all right, we'll listen to this bullshit, because we're going to the college football playoff and we might win. You're losing to Duke. You're losing to UM, like the worst coaching staff probably in program history. And then you going on and being an asshole like this. I'm telling you what's going to happen. If UM, FSU, and teams like Duke and Louisville, if they start passing Clemson, his ass is about it there. Because that hot seat is going to become blazing. Like, he ain't that good where he can survive that kind of tumble. So his future is more worrisome to me. And I want him out there because I don't like him.
I gotta say though, I disagree with you were talking about the Miami staff. That's not the worst Miami staff in program history.
For one game they were.
Come on now. Nah.
All right, next one. More concerning. My Oklahoma Sooners lost to Kansas, unranked Kansas, or Oregon State's loss to Arizona.
Listen, I know those were two unranked teams, but listen, Kansas is better than what people think. I'm just saying. And Oklahoma, you get one loss. So I'm more concerned about Oregon State because you don't have the cachet that Oklahoma has, right? They're still going to get the recruits. They're going to probably be there till the end. You get one loss.
Loaded.
You get one loss. So is the Pac-12, JT.
I'm saying the Pac-12, like for Oregon State.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Not only that, but now this is your second loss. Like the season in terms of the playoffs, that's kind of over. And like you said, it's a tough conference. I don't know how they're going to bounce back, so I'm more concerned for Oregon State.
Nah, it's Oklahoma. Like, what was that? Like, they ruined my preseason picks. So I'll forever be mad at them. It's them. I know you have. He was getting scared there for a minute. He was like, damn, he got another Utah on his hands. Yeah, they'll be bad. It's a good team.
They falter just like Utah.
All right, so let's also play Jackpot or Fool's Gold with this. Jackpot or Fool's Gold. Michael Penix is a top 10 pick.
Oh, jackpot. That's my guy. Next question. I don't even have to debate this one. That's Jack. Hey, in the words of Randy Moss, that's cash money. Come on.
As much as I like Penix and you helped me come around on him at Washington, I think it's fool's gold just because I don't think he's a top 3 quarterback in this class. And I don't think 4 quarterbacks will go in the top 10. Like a class has to be very, very special for that to happen. So I think he's the odd man out. Jackpot or Fool's Gold. This is Jim Harbaugh's last year at Michigan.
Fool's Gold. It's funny. 2 years ago at this time, going into that Ohio State game, they wanted him out. If he doesn't win, he's out. They're not going to let him walk, dude. And I don't know what NFL team's going to, because there's a lot of coaches NFL teams are looking at right now. One of them's Lincoln Riley. Like, maybe a Kirby Smart. I don't think Harbaugh's high on that list, and he's not going any other college place. Like, he's doing so much shenanigans between how he was doing camps in Florida. Now he's got people spying. Like,
we forgot about the sleepovers, trips to Paris.
Like, he's staying at Michigan. He gets to do whatever he wants. He's untouchable there. Why would you leave? Why would you leave if you're Jim Harbaugh?
As much shit is going on with Michigan right now, I will say this. This is fool's gold because we as outsiders may have been late to see this, but I think Michigan knew this 2 years ago, and this is why he ain't going nowhere. Michigan has their opportunity to get their Nick Saban, and it's Jim Harbaugh. Like, he came there, changed the culture. They eventually, overtook their biggest obstacle and rival in Ohio State. And as long as Harbaugh is there, I don't really see it going back. Like, unless they go and get Urban Meyer and replace Ryan Day with him, I don't see that balance of power swinging back the other way. Like, this is what Michigan has been trying to recreate with all these failed coaches like Rich Rodriguez, Brady Hoke. Like, you have your Nick Saban. He ain't going nowhere. Like, and why would he want to go? Like, so I can go to the Raiders and get embarrassed on Monday Night Football so they can leak my emails and I get fired anyway. Like, Michigan is the best job for him on the planet, and they're not letting him go. Like, they got seniors staying for NIL money to get coached by him instead of going to NFL. So I think he'll be back.
Yep.
Oh, you're going to love this one. Jackpot or fool's gold. Miami, the Hurricanes, are actually having a good season.
Despite the Georgia Tech game.
Hell no, we living in the moment. That shit will never die.
It's jackpot. It's jackpot. I told you at the beginning of the year, if they can go 8-4, if they can hang in the Clemson game, if they can hang in the UNC game, if they can hang in the FSU game, it's an improvement. That's a good season to me. And guess what? 8-4 is possible. Would have been much easier had they hung on against Georgia Tech. They're competing. They haven't been blown out. They beat A&M. They're still recruiting, and they've improved on both sides of the ball. You mentioned it one time when we were texting. The tackling has so much improved. But this is the other thing. They beat Clemson, JT. They beat A&M. They hung with UNC on the road. They had a halftime lead. The only other game remaining is Florida State. That could be a disaster. I'm not going to lie. It could be really bad for Miami. We could get smoked again like we did last year. But the way they have played leads me to believe they won't get smoked. And they can keep it a 2-score game. And to me, it's jackpot, baby.
Yeah. Georgia Tech, anger aside, I do think it's jackpot. Because if you told me at the beginning of the season that we'd be 6-2 at this point and one of the wins would be against Clemson, you'd be like, nah, there's no way. Like, you got to be messing with me. It's like, this is like, a major.
And we would say, who do we lose to? A&M and UNC, right? You'd be like, nah, we beat A&M too. We'd be like, all right, I guess there's an upset in there, but we'll take it.
Yeah, and it's like, think about where we were last year and, the 3 years before. Like, this team is night and day. Like, we're 6-2, and we're like, we shouldn't be here. Like, last year we were getting blown out at home by Middle Tennessee State. And, like, now a Middle Tennessee State would get beat by 3 scores by this team is because I think they're much more disciplined. We're tougher on defense. The lines, like you said, on both sides are good. We don't miss tackles. We don't beat ourselves. And I think a team that doesn't beat themselves is worth 6 to 7 wins. And we're finally starting to see what that's like. So, yeah, this season is definitely jackpot. And I'm glad we're at this point because I feel like our heads are clear going into this FSU game.
Well, don't forget, I think we got NC State this weekend. So don't look too far ahead.
Basketball school.
Wow. Okay. Well,
don't tell your boy I said that, but it is.
All right. So everyone's favorite segment, forget about it or Fugazi. So
we can roll right through these.
We know how this works. We read a statement. If we agree with it, we think it's a hot take, forget about it. If we disagree, it's a bad take, Fugazi. All right. First one. JT, the NFL should investigate how quickly Brock Purdy cleared the concussion protocol last week to play in their game Sunday against the Bengals.
Oh, absolutely. What the hell is this shit? First of all, the dude got a concussion.
Watch the language.
This dude got a concussion after the Monday Night Football game. Think about it. After the Monday Night Football game. I want to read this to you. Traditionally, a player is not able to practice even in limited capacity until day 4 of the protocol. So if he didn't report symptoms and enter the protocol until basically Tuesday, how was he practicing on a limited basis by Thursday? Like, That goes against everything that the protocol says is in place. Like, he is not supposed to be practicing. So he practiced too early, and then all of a sudden he cleared the protocol. First of all, if you get a concussion on Sunday games, if you get a concussion on a Thursday game, you probably not going to play the next week. So you're trying to tell me Brock Purdy reports concussion, basically gets in the protocol on Tuesday, and by Thursday he's getting limited practices? Like, this is worse than what the Dolphins did with Tua last year. Like, I don't even think Tua came back this quick from practice. Like, this is unreal. Like, how does the NFL not investigate this? How does he come back that fast to practice? And what independent person cleared him? Like, who cleared this man? Like, I want to know. Absolutely forget about it.
Yeah, it's forget about it. I mean, I'm not saying they did anything wrong, but there does need to
I'm
be
saying they did.
There does need to be an investigation. All right. And yeah, you don't see it that often. The fact that this happened after the Monday night game and then, playing a Sunday game, he was cleared by Saturday pretty much. Like, it sounded like Friday night he was going to be out. So now, granted, again, just going in concussion protocol doesn't necessarily mean that you can't play, but it does seem like a speed up timeline. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But that doesn't mean you can't investigate it.
He's like, doesn't mean there's not foul play. I will say that this is eerily similar to when NFL had the COVID season and other guys that are not quarterbacks catch COVID and they got to sit out the full amount. But, quarterback catches COVID. Oh, yeah, he cleared the protocol like a day later. Like, very suspicious.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Joel Embiid will be in.
Whoa, I'm reading them. What are you doing?
I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I was so mad. I read the next one.
You're messing up the rhythm.
Go ahead.
Joel Embiid will be a New York Knick before the All-Star break.
Fugazi. Philly got rid of James Harden. Joel Embiid ain't going nowhere.
I agree. It's Fugazi. Not only did they move Harden, they helped their salary cap and luxury tax, right? If you look that up. And then on top of that, they bring in these role players. It's like they're not letting him walk. There's not enough value in return for the Sixers to allow him to be traded. So
I say those multiple first and pick swaps ain't going to get it done.
Nope. All right. So it's Fugazi. Last one. The Orlando Magic will make the playoffs. They're off to a hot start.
I said they would. I'm actually going to take it back, man. And I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Fugazi, because the reason why I thought they would be a playoff team is because I thought Paolo Banchero would take this next step. And it's like, he really struggling to start the season. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he'll get over it, but he ain't coming out the gates hot enough for me to say they're going to be a playoff team. Like, he has to take this next almost borderline all-star leap for me to say they're going to be a playoff team. And that's what I was banking on, and I haven't seen it so far.
It's early, man. It's a weekend. They've played 3 games. Like, talk about relax, bro. Relax. It's forget about it. They're going to make it. I mean, go look at the Eastern Conference. I think they have a great shot. They have the talent. And again, I'm a big fan of Mosley, the coach.
Oh, we both are, yeah.
I think he'll put it together. So I like the formula, or I shouldn't say the formula because the Orlando does it always a weird way, but
yeah, they got a weird formula. All power forwards.
Yeah.
Nothing
but
else.
I like the chemistry and I do like the talent they have. I think they're finally maturing enough. I think this is like the Sacramento Kings of 2 years ago, where
they're a year away from being a threat.
Right. Way to put it. All right. So weekend predictions. This is our favorite segment.
Oh, let's roll through these.
All right. So we've got college football first. I got to give you the records. We're going to have to base it on percentage points at this point because JT and I have picked 4 more games than Coach Connor. So we're going to go by percentage points. So
so what's the records though?
So the records is Coach Connor is 12-9, you're 15-10, and I'm 14-11. Percentages, you lead the way at 60%. He is next at 57.1, and then I'm at 56. So we're all close in there.
So you got a little Jeff Fisher going on?
Well, bro, I'm 56%. That's better. Jeff Fisher's 50%. All right. So we've got 4 weekend games in college football here that we're going to pick. And I've got Coach Connor's picks in here. So we'll mark them down. First one, JT, Kansas State at Texas. Who do you have?
I think this is the trap game. I'm going with Kansas State.
Woo! I actually agree with you, but Coach Connor is going with Texas because I'm just not sure with Quinn Ayers. Is he going to play? Like, who knows?
If Arch Manning playing, I think that chance goes up that this is a loss.
Well, no, Arch Manning did not play last game, but neither did Quinn Ayers. They have the backup.
But if Quinn doesn't play and maybe Arch plays, then I'm definitely picking Kansas State.
All right, so you and I go Kansas State. Coach Connor goes Texas. Missouri at Georgia.
Georgia next.
Woo! You know what though? Coach Cassidy agrees with you. I'm going to go Missouri. I didn't forget what happened last year where they almost beat Stetson Bennett. This year you got Carson Beck instead of Stetson Bennett, and Missouri's playing pretty well, top 25. Because didn't you say they were like one of the most surprising teams or most impressive teams to start? So guess what? I'm going Missouri.
Oh, so you actually do listen to me. Nice.
I listen. I don't always agree.
Yeah, you can't hear Jimmy, but okay, whatever.
Washington at USC.
Ooh, I think this is USC. I can't see them losing 2 games in a row like that.
Well, both Coach Connor and I agree with each other. We're going Washington. I can't go away from Penix and Washington. They're my playoff team. All right, last one. It's the big SEC game. LSU at Alabama.
Bama.
Ooh, you and Coach Connor agree. I got LSU. I think it's going to be a heck of a game, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the quarterback. I'm going to go with Daniels.
Do me a favor. You're writing these down. Send them to me after the show, so I don't have to bug you for it.
Wow, this guy doesn't believe me. That's what you're saying.
Write them down and send them to me.
He doesn't believe me. He doesn't believe me. Doesn't believe me. Unbelievable. I don't have time to write these down and send them to you. All right. NFL. So Kendall is in the lead at 12-6. I am next at 10-8, and you're 9-9, JT. So you're definitely.
So that's why we have so many games.
You're the Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
What do you mean? We've got 5. If I was in the lead, I'd be like, nah,
We never had this many games.
Catch up. I'd be like, let's not give you a chance to catch up. All right. In London, Dolphins versus the Chiefs.
I want my Dolphins to win this game, but this is the game that scares me. Can they beat a team like this? And I'm going to say they do. I'm going to Dolphins.
Ooh, you had me fooled a second. I agree with you. Kendall is going Kansas City Chiefs, though. All right. Seahawks at Ravens. Who you got?
MVP. Give it to them. Ravens.
All 3 of us agree it is Baltimore. That's a tough flight, tough travel for Seattle, and it's a tough place to play. So all 3 of us have the Ravens. Cowboys at Eagles.
Oh, it's going to be a good game. I got to go with the Eagles, though, man. They just got Minka Fitzpatrick Jr. from the Titans and Kevin Baird. Now you add that dude to that defense, man, and A.J. Brown guaranteed to get 125 plus. So I got to go with the Eagles at home.
All right, all 3 of us have the Eagles as well. Bills at Bengals. It's a good slate of NFL games, JT.
Bengals. I just think the Bengals have their number as long as Burrow's there.
I'm going to go. Kendall agrees with you. I'm going to go Buffalo. I'm not a believer in the Bengals. I'm sorry.
We know. And every time you say they're not going to do something, they do it.
Last one. Chargers at the Jets.
Ooh, it's a Sunday night game?
I think it is.
This is sneaky as hell. I think it's the Jets. Chargers got to come out east. This is the most Chargers thing. They come out to play the Jets that don't have a quarterback on prime time just to let us down. So I'm going with the Jets. That defense playing good. Breece Hall is back.
Actually, this must be a Monday night game because the Chargers just played the Bears on Sunday night. So I think this is the Monday night. So I'm going to go. So you and Kendall agree, but I'm going to go Chargers. Listen, man, I'm a Justin Herbert guy. I'm a believer in him. I know Staley's not the best, but the Jets like sneaking around and keeping it close. Like at some point, the better team wins, and the Jets offensively.
Are we sure the Jets aren't the better team? Because just because they got Justin Herbert don't mean the Chargers are better.
Talent-wise, they do not. So I got Chargers.
Maybe Quentin Johnston will go off.
You and Kendall have the Jets. No one wants to see Quentin Johnston go.
Everybody wants to see him
because then you're going to overcharge for people to trade for.
I for sale.
So, JT, great episode. We're going to end it there because I want to go eat some Halloween candy since you made me work on a national holiday. All right. But it's a lot of fun. Thank you to the fans and listeners out there for watching and listening. Always awesome. Thanks for the comments. And remember, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you find all of your other favorite podcasts. And remember, if you like what we do, leave us a 5-star review. And JT,
if you don't like what we do,
leave us a 5-star review. And please follow us on social media. Our handle at JT and the Don. We can be found on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or is it X now? I don't even know.
It's X. It's X.
X, and Facebook.
Please, we will not be on X, but we are on Twitter. I don't want to send the wrong message to the kids.
Oh, so it's two different things? See, I don't even know.
It's called X, okay. Formerly Twitter.
Okay. All right, we'll keep saying Twitter until we get a cease and desist order. So, JT, great episode, man. A lot of fun, and about to go eat some candy corn. And until the next episode, see ya.
Peace.